Okay, today we're looking at creating a blog post. So generally once you open your WordPress site, you will open it to the last page that you were working on, or it may open up to the dashboard as we see here. So if we look over on the left-hand side navigation, we see a number of different areas that we could go, but in this case, since we're working on a blog post, we want to go to Posts, All Posts. In this case, we have 4 blog posts. And generally what I like to do, if I know that a particular blog post has all of the features that I want for the next in the series of posts, I will just duplicate this, which is right here. In this case, we have Eric Mall testimonial, and let's say I wanted to work on something else, then you just duplicate it. In this case, we're going to go into Eric Mall and we're going to hit edit. The first thing you do is that if you look at the post, you can look at it in 2 different ways. You can look at it in a visual format in the CMS that literally shows you to the best of the content manager's ability to show visually what it will look like, or you can look at it in text, which shows more of the HTML aspect of the post. Typically, you like to work in the visual format. There are some cases that you will need to hop over, and the tab is here on the far right-hand side. It says visual and text that you will have to hop back and forth, especially when adding iframe content from YouTube. So working in the visual side, the first thing we do is we want to add in a title. In this case, we'll add in a dash, and then we would also want to change the permalink to reflect what is the particular aspect of the blog post. So the permalink is here. You click edit, and in this case, Eric Mall testimonial, we do put dashes in between each one of the words. And I would recommend not making this long and drawn out. And then you hit OK. So as we move down the content area, the next thing we have is the title itself within the content area. And you can change that by choosing, if you'd care to make it larger, bold, italic, change the text color, everything that in a certain sense, a lot of the aspects that you have in handling text or images within content that you might see in Word, for instance. In this case, we're going to go back and we're going to change the header 3 where it was. We now have the ability to add a video underneath, and that uses a YouTube iframe. I'm going to go over to YouTube. Search for the video. And in this case, we want to add in Eric Mall. So we click on it. You don't have to play it necessarily, but what you do need to do is you need to go down to Share, click on it, and don't copy this in this case because we're using an iframe embed. You want to go down to Embed. Click on that, and then just copy this block of content here. So this is one of the cases that you need to work in a text mode. So if we go over to the right-hand side here, you see the tab from visual to text. We want to click on text, and we want to highlight this area and we want to copy the new content into it. And to check that, we can jump over to Visual, and we should see the video come up and be represented along with the thumbnail. The thumbnail is selected within the YouTube environment. Moving down the page, in many cases, we want a text descriptor in here, a paragraph or a line that really talks somewhat about the content within the video. And that would go here. You literally just type it in because we're in a visual format. In this case, we're going to delete that. Underneath that is the transcription of the video, and that will usually come in a Word doc format from the transcription services company. I copy that and I paste that into Notepad. The reason being that will strip out any other metadata that could cause problems within an HTML or WordPress environment. So I want to copy it into Notepad or into Notepad++ or any other type of text editor that deals with just pure text. So once I have that, I will copy that, Control C, or right click and copy. I will copy that, and then I'll highlight if there's existing content in there, and I will hit Control V or paste and replace it. At the very bottom is the image that actually represents the banner image of the blog post and also the image that sits directly underneath the banner. And let's take a look at that now. But to add that, you delete this by hitting this X and you select media, and then you can select an image from your library or upload an image directly into the library and then post it to the page. So if we're looking at preview over here, we can now see that that image at the bottom of the page is represented here. We have it also represented at this point. We have our title, we have our video, and we have our content. And if I was not clear regarding how to upload a new video, let me do that now. I'm going to delete this by hitting the X. I'm going to select media. That launches our library of content. And if you're just accessing the library for the first time, it may take a little bit of time for the thumbnails to come up, as we just saw now. I'm going to look down through here and I'm going to pick a particular image. And I'm going to, in the bottom right hand corner, I'm going to add media. Okay. And sometimes it takes just a second. We actually only need one. So I've added media. And then if I go back over to preview changes, I can jump over to that tab and review it. And then finally, if everything looks good to you, then the last thing you want to do is you want to hit update, which is over here on the far right hand side, and that actually is the same as save. If you don't do that and you choose to leave the image, it will throw an error and it will say, are you sure you want to leave? and if you hit yes, you will lose all of your work. But in this case, we're going to hit update. See that it's saved, and now if we jump over, we have our blog post.